So clearly, if you look at it, I think the telecom sector is going through a rapid shift, if I can call it, in the next 2, 3 years. What we are going to see emerging from the telecom sector is that historically, the telecom sector has only serviced the consumer industry to a large extent. Going forward, with some of the emerging technologies like 5G, satellite communication coming in, we will see a shift, a larger shift towards industrial, uh, kind of towards the entire enterprise business, really taking advantage of the telecom services. And enterprise revenues will probably touch close to 40% over the next few years, contributing over 40% to the telecom revenues. What we are also going to see a significant shift towards is the broadband, which is going to really penetrate into the rural areas. I think largely it has been the domain of the urban areas, but I think with some of these technologies that we'll see coming in, whether it is satellite communication, whether it is 5G, I think we'll see a larger shift towards consumers. And I think that will really help in probably really touching, telecom will start to touch the lives of billion Indians. We've seen a lot of activation, subscriber connection, subscriber growth coming in. But I think the next 2, 3 years, we'll really see the impact of this, if I can call it, telecom revolution. And you will see a complete shift in the entire portfolio of services that telecom service providers will offer. And at the same time, the way consumers are going to really benefit by accessing multiple applications on the healthcare sector, on the fintech space, etc., to really capitalize on the services. So I think if you look at it, government is really, I would personally believe that the government has taken some really bold initiatives to the telecom reforms that came in probably the middle of September 2021. We've really settled some of the old outstanding litigations, whether it is in terms of the entire rationalization of AGR definition, whether it is in terms of the moratorium that they've given for 4 years. And yesterday itself, a couple of operators have opted for the moratorium. So I think with this liquid, the government has tried to adjust in terms of the liquidity crisis at this point of time. So I think it paves the way for the operators to now invest that same amount significantly, in terms of 5G auctions for the spectrum, and also in terms of really rolling out the networks. So I think the government has done its bit. Now it's probably the time for the operators to start to really get their house in order. And I think 4-year moratorium is a very large period. And I think the government has really thought through the period to be able to do it. Having said that, obviously there are significant additional challenges which probably the operators are grappling with at this point of time. I think some of them, if I can, if I can look back, some of the things, probably what needs to really get structured is, if you look at it, the spectrum costs are significantly high in India as compared to the Western world. At the same time, I think the operators a lot of money in terms of the network upgrades from a 5G perspective. And that is probably the biggest challenge is that there is a lot of stress on the balance sheets of the operators. I think from that perspective, probably things like the USO fund utilization, etc., can really help in probably managing the entire network rollout, etc., which will probably pave the way for a smooth. Having said the other thing which is obviously the operators are grappling with is probably in terms of the tariffs. We still see probably the lowest tariffs in the world, but I think the government is very clear that the government wants to leave the entire tariff in the hands of the operators and let the market forces decide, which probably is the right way to go. I personally believe that I think the operators should be able to sort out these issues over the next 2, 3 years. Let's understand how the telecom network really works. The fact is that the terrestrial network cost, the urban area is fiberized. The cost of terrestrial communication rises significantly as the rollout moves from urban to the rural areas, whether it is in terms of optical fiber or it's really in terms of towers. So to be able to manage that cost, I think satellite communication very pivotal role. And satellite, and some of us really probably believe that satellite communication will compete with 5G. Satellite communication eventually will complement 5G services. You will get high-speed broadband through satellite communication in the rural areas. Satellite communication will also be very critical considering the fact that we are still a low fiberized country. So for the purposes of backhaul, when you're going to have high-speed broadband even in the urban areas, considering the fact that not more than 25-30% of our towers are fiberized, I think satellite communication will also help in the overall connecting the backhaul network. And I think that's high speed, what customers require, customers and the enterprises require is high speed broadband. So complementing 5G satellite communication is the way to go. And I think India is on the right track. I think ISRO is doing a lot of stuff. The other day we read that SpaceX may be tying up with some of the vendors in India to be able to manufacture satellite equipment in India. We've already seen one of the large telecom operators in India, tying up with a major British company to be able to roll out satellite communication. So I think we are on the right track. Globally subscribers on satellite communication are limited. So I think from a satellite communication perspective, I think we are pretty much in line with the global trends, and we are definitely not delayed on that. So I think satellite communication is again something that will really complement 5G, and we will see a lot of uptake of satellite communication in the rural areas and in the urban areas for backhaul. So one of the key things that came out as a part of the telecom reforms in September this year was the fact that the government has mandated very clearly that they will come out with a calendar for auction, which the Honorable Minister also said that is going in the first quarter of 2022. So if we are to see auctions happening somewhere around the first quarter or April, May of 2022, I personally believe that we will still, considering the fact that most of the operators have already carried out trial runs because the government had released the trial spectrum earlier, I believe that we will see the rollout of auctions happening definitely within 2022. Now, what does this, and obviously it's going to be a rollout in phases, but what does it mean for the industry and for the consumers? One is that 5G will have a larger businesses, at least in the initial uptake. And when I say enterprises, whether it is in terms of automating factories, whether it's in terms of IoT, whether it's in terms of robotics, I think industry uptake is going to be very, very significant, unlike some of the previous generations, which is 3G, 4G. Now, what happens for the consumers? 5G is just not about speed. What 5G will give is, India is a country that probably utilizes the maximum amount of handsets in terms of either video content or in terms of sports. So I think 5G will enable to actually, enhance video quality, which is 4K, 8K content is going to be available on 5G services. So that's again a larger uptake from that perspective. We will see live sport event. We will see a lot of live sporting events. Not that sporting events still can't be viewed on 4G devices, but I think 5G will make it a far more smoother. Music content and cloud gaming. Gaming has become so popular in India and the market is just growing. So I think that entire concept of cloud gaming will really zoom, especially in terms of the uptake in the younger population, the Gen Z as we call it. I think we will see a lot of cloud gaming happening there. We've seen bits and pieces on virtual reality. Again, that's something that will have an uptake. So from a consumer perspective, there's a whole lot of experiences that consumers are going to get through when we get through 5G. Lastly, the entire automotive connectivity. While we know of a telecom company going and tie up with an automotive player, but I think that entire automotive connectivity will really gain traction with 5G coming on the ground. So I think overall, both the enterprise business and the consumer business will really take the benefit of 5G. And in the end, it will obviously have a big push factor towards the services for the telecom also. And probably the revenues from internet will far exceed the revenues from voice over the years. So I think 3-4 things that the government and the operators probably need to work in tandem. The first, we are going to see 5G auctions coming up shortly, and the base price hasn't got fixed till now. So I think the base price for 5G auctions will play a large role in terms of the fact that the operators will pick up pan-India license, or the operators will pick up different bands, because 5G, as you know, will operate under 3 bands. So will the operators, what kind of bands will the operators pick up will largely be dependent on the auction price, because business models will get carved out from that. The second thing is the government is pushing through the Bharat Broadband Networks Limited to be able to roll out fiberization and connecting all the Gram Panchayats in the country. So that PPP model under which the private operators will be able to share the fiberization done by the government is also very, very critical to make sure that we are able to roll out 5G services across the country. Tariffs I've already talked about. Tariffs is something that will get fixed by the operators, and the government will not have a role to play in that. Lastly, I think one of the other pieces which probably the operators will have to work again very, very closely with the government is really in terms of the entire allocation of the USO fund. Now, that's a huge money that's lying with the government, and how does that get pushed? Because this is probably going to be one of the largest transformation in the telecom industries that we will see over the next 1.5 years. I think these are probably the few parameters, which is both in terms of the regulator, in terms of the telecom operators, who will have to work in tandem. Because eventually the telecom operators, now that the AGR definition has got sorted out, the telecom operators will be able to provide a lot more services without really getting burdened by the cost of license fee. I think the close-knit partnership between the operators is extremely critical over the next 1.5 years to be able to see the success of the telecom sector in India. You know, India will be the second largest smartphone market by 2025. We still have a large number of smartphones, but I think we still use feature phones in the rural areas because rural penetration on the internet has not been what we would have wanted to be. But considering the fact that we will roll out high-speed broadband in the rural areas, either through 5G or broadband, the penetration and the growth in the sector is going to be very significant. And what is going to drive the telecom operators is not about the speed. It's really about the services that they bundle along with the infrastructure and the connections that they give to the subscriber, whether it's in terms of fintech, whether it is in terms of content, gaming. I think we will see alliances coming through over the next few years where telecom operators will get into alliances with some of these companies. We've seen in the past where a lot of content alliances happen. I think now we'll see a lot of alliances between the startups and the telecom companies in terms of these different systems. EduTech is another place where we will see a lot of alliances happening. So largely a very, very positive outlook for India on the telecom space. And I think the next 2-3 years will really differ, and companies which really come out and create different models will be the winners in this marketplace. Historical models will probably get buried over the next 2 years.
Much for your time, sir. It has been great interacting with you.
Thanks.